Dolphins win the toss, they defer, and so the Steelers will receive as we say hello to Chris Fisher. Chris?
Thanks, Spiro. Some notable inactives for the Steelers today. Defensive end Cameron Hayward will miss today's game with an hamstring injury, while linebacker Ryan Shazier, right tackle Marcus Gilbert, and wide receiver Marcus Wheaton are also ruled out. And I had the chance to speak with wide receiver Sammy Coates prior to the game during warm-up. He tells me last week against the Jets, he suffered a fractured index finger and thumb, as well as a laceration in the webbing of his hand, but he says he feels ready to go today.
Keep an eye on him, and what an emotional moment for the Pouncey twins. Mike of the Dolphins on your right, Marquise. Starting centers, two of the best at their position. First time that they are playing against each other, Solomon, at any level. What a moment for those two and their family.
Yeah, it kind of tests your loyalties. Do you go with your family, that is the guys who are your brothers on the football team, or do you go with your blood relative? Really interesting today.
These two teams met in 2013, but Marquise was out with that ACL tear, as this is Fitzgerald Toussaint, able to cross the 20 and ducks ahead to the 24-yard line. An impressive return of 20. Here is Ben Roethlisberger. His numbers over the last couple of weeks really have been otherworldly. 300-plus yards passing, 4 touchdowns without a pick in either of those 2 games. 15 passing touchdowns, leads the league most ever by a Steelers quarterback through 5 games. Here are the starters. Chris Hubbard still out of position at right tackle. Second straight start as Marcus Gilbert is out, and Antonio Brown, the Miami product, making his homecoming, and he is ever the showman. Steelers fans expecting the big performance from Brown. They'll start first and 10 from their own 24. Roethlisberger from the gun, hands to Le'Veon Bell, who is playing his 3rd game since coming back from that 3-game suspension. Meantime, defensively for Miami, this has been a major Achilles heel. This unit has struggled, to say the least, and Ndamukong Suh, one of the few bright spots on that unit, playing at a Pro Bowl level. Kiko Alonso, 3rd in the league in tackles. And the back end dealing with some injuries. Xavier Howard, their very heralded rookie cornerback, is out. Expected to miss multiple weeks, and so Tony Lippert makes his 3rd consecutive start. Bell lines up in the slot, top of your picture, takes the quick pass from Roethlisberger, crosses the 30, cuts back, and appears to have enough for a Steelers first down, and he does. And when you talk about Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, all the weapons that they have offensively, but this is really the guy that still stirs the drink. He's been just incredible since his return.
Well, the offense is going to go through Le'Veon Bell. He can line up at a number of different positions. In the backfield, at wide receiver, in the slot. He knows how to make plays when he gets the ball in his hands. Right now, he's in the backfield.
First and 10, Roethlisberger under center, hands off to Bell. And we all know, Solomon, just what he does for the Steelers in the run game, but how he impacts their passing game as well is really fascinating to watch.
Well, you've seen a spike in just about all numbers, especially in the point production, where they're averaging more than 2 touchdowns more than the 3 games when they didn't have Le'Veon Bell, and obviously much more explosive pass plays with Le'Veon Bell. Now he's going to come out and line up as a wide receiver. Remember, they're without Marcus Wheaton today.
Wheaton re-injuring his shoulder, and searches 4 healthy receivers for Todd Haley and the Steelers. This is D'Angelo Williams, who was just invaluable for them with all the games that Bell has missed over the last couple of seasons. Tackled on the play by Rashad Jones, is playing hurt with that groin. Solomon, what are we looking for?
I think if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, what you need to watch out for is you cannot turn the football over on the road. It is the great equalizer that allows Adam Gates to hang in there with your football team. And then you're the Miami Dolphins, and Adam Gates, he knows it. You've got to protect Ryan Tannehill, keep him upright so he can make some plays in the passing game.
Third and 6. Roethlisberger under pressure. Little shovel pass as a marker comes in. Right behind the play, our referee today is Ed Hockley.
Holding, offense number 74. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
That's Chris Hubbard, who's more of a center / guard today, playing that right tackle for the injured Gilbert.
Now watching Ndamukong Suh, he's going to beat number 66, the right guard, David DeCastro. This is Suh being able to make plays. Look, penetrating, getting right into the face of Ben Roethlisberger and forcing the errant pass for Ben.
Steelers will punt on 4th and 6. Jordan Berry, the Australian national, punts it away. This is Jarvis Landry. And the Dolphins will have very good starting field position right around their own 35. Only a 38-yard punt from Berry. Ryan Tannehill, the Dolphins embattled quarterback, his 5th season as their starter, making his 70th consecutive start. Pretty incredible when you consider the punishment that he's taken. No quarterback sacked more since he came into the league back in 2012 as the Dolphins' first-round pick. They have averaged just over 17 points per game, 28th in the NFL on 1st and 10. Quick strike by Tannehill finds Kenny Stills for a pickup of 5. As we told you right at the top, this is the first game today as a late flag now comes in. First time that their projected starting O-line is intact. Brandon Albert back, missed the last 2 games. Last week was out with food poisoning. Lost about 12 pounds. Jarvis Landry, 4th in the league in catches. Headlines their receiving corps as we get the call from Hockey League.
Unsportsmanlike conduct offense, number 70. That was after the play was over. Therefore, 2nd down, and it's a 15-yard penalty.
That's their right tackle, Jawan James.
Wow, and there's James right there. He's pulling someone off the pile. And there are rules against it. They want you to clear away and not have your hands on anyone from the opposing team. And so it's a costly penalty. These are the simple mistakes that have really put this team in a hole in the early going of football games.
Adam Gase lines up his tight end, Deion Sims, bottom of your screen. Tannehill throwing near side. It is caught. That's Landry taking on tacklers, crosses the 40 up to the 45. And how about that tough play by Landry? First down on the catch and run. They pick up 21 as a late flag comes in at the end of the play.
This is the effort and energy you want from your football team if you're Adam Gase. Mike Mitchell, number 23, appears to be animated. Gase wants his football team to play with more energy today. It's something that really they talked about during the week with his team.
After the play was over, a personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 23, 15 yards and a 1st down.
It's Mike Mitchell, their starting safety.
Well, there's Mitchell right there. There's the tackle, so whatever play, okay, he's on the ground now, and something had to happen down there that the officials saw. Remember, they don't want any taunting.
See that little push at the end of the play, and these officials are trying to stay on top of these players very early in this game. So extracurriculars now called, 1 on each team. They're the head coaches, Mike Tomlin. Hard to believe at the helm of this Steelers franchise for the last 10 years. 1st and 10 after the penalty inside the Steelers 40. From the shotgun, Tannehill hands to Ajayi. Finds some open real estate inside the 30. A pickup of a dozen, pushed out of bounds by the rookie hometown product, Artie Burns, after a pickup of 12. Big loss defensively for the Steelers. Their leading sack man, Cam Hayward, is out. Slight tear in his hamstring, so Ricardo Matthews is up. Vince Williams, 3rd straight start for the injured Ryan Shazier, has led them in tackles each of the last 2 games. And Robert Golden, back in the starting lineup, out the last couple of weeks with a hamstring injury as he went down back in that Week 3 game in Philly in the first half. 1st and 10 after the run. And an impressive opening drive for Miami. Play action from Tannehill, has time, fires, end zone, incomplete. Off the hands of Devontae Parker, who went airborne. Would have been a tough catch, but Solomon had hit him in the hands.
It should have been a catch. There's no doubt. Love the protection for Tannehill on this play. And Parker does a good job of getting out in front of Ross Cockrell. That ball hit him in the hands. He's got to be able to haul it in for Tannehill, who looked really good hanging in the pocket. The protection was there. It was a play action fake, And so they provided protection for the quarterback. He stood in the pocket and I thought delivered a strike to his intended receiver, Devontae Parker, who didn't make the catch.
And that was a touchdown saving hit by that man, Mike Mitchell, who came in right with the contact to jar the football loose. And Mitchell's been one of the more durable safeties in the NFL. 52nd consecutive start. That is the 5th longest streak among safeties in the NFL. So Jordan Dangerfield, who started the last couple of weeks for the injured Robert Golden, now comes on 2nd and 10. Tannehill to give to Ajayi. And once again able to find the edge, run out of bounds, close to another first down. He picks up 11 as once again Miami moves the chains.
Oh, they're able to get around the edge. Watch right here. See, they kick out on Jarvis Jones and then get around number 98. That's Vince Williams, who really has played well in replacing Ryan Shazier. But Jay Ajayi right now off to a good start. I like the fact that they're coming out with Ryan Tannehill under center. It tells me they're committed to the run game. It gives them some play action pass opportunities, and it helps the offensive line to provide better protection for Tannehill.
Only the 12th red zone possession for the Dolphins this season, 1st and 10. And Solomon, you look at this offensive line, they have not had this kind of push really at any point this season.
Well, this is the first time, as Chris Fisher had told us at the top, it's the first time these 5 starters on the offensive line have played in a regular season game together since the start of 2016. And so the offensive line has been woeful. They have not been able to generate a run game. They've not been able to protect the quarterback, who's been hit, hurried, and harassed for the entire season. I think the commitment to running the football has helped, but having those 5 guys back together really is paying off.
Landry in motion, 2nd and 6. Quick throw from Tannehill is caught by Parker and then is brought down right around the 12. So a pickup of only a yard, and now the first big play call coming up here from Adam Gase. We'll see where he goes with about 9 and change left in the quarter.
Well, this is really about, I think, their ability to run the football very well. And when you can run it, it's going to give you some play action pass opportunities. And Tannehill's got to be able to carry out the play fake to force the Pittsburgh Steelers defense to step up to the line of scrimmage. But you can see that defense has been really good at keeping teams out of the end zone on the opening drive.
8th play of the drive that began at their own 35. 3rd and 6. Throw off the hands of Ajayi and incomplete. He is looking into the sun, trying to make that kind of behind over the back shoulder catch. Anthony Chickillo making his first career start on the coverage.
Yeah, but when you go in for film the next day, they call this a drop. And teams that are 1-4 can't make excuses. You had a drop earlier for Devontae Parker, who should have had the touchdown. And on that catch, what should have been a catch, by Jay Ajayi, he turns and runs. He's going to pick up a first down.
So here is Andrew Franks, a 2nd-year kicker out of Division III RPI in Troy, New York. 4 of 5 on field goals this season, and he is perfect from 30. So the Dolphins drive stalls, but they tack on the first points of the afternoon on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network. And by Ameriprise Financial.
Well, no team in the NFL has a more storied history than the Pittsburgh Steelers. You saw Dan Rooney, last of those iconic shots, as Miami with a little trickeration here, a little onside kick to try to catch the Steelers surprised. It was Tyler Matakevich recovering the kick, and an interesting decision by Adam Gase. There's Darren Rizzi, their highly respected special teams coach, who has been here through multiple head coaching changes. There is a flag thrown.
We will retry that kickoff. We will redo the kickoff. The ball was kicked before the officials were in position, just as the whistle was blowing, which was premature.
Wow. You know, if you're Mike Tomlin, you don't like that because you love But see, here's official right there. See, his back is turned to the action. He just starts to turn around. I thought the official down at the bottom was in position. Matakevich is able to recover it. Mike Tomlin said, hey, we want the ball with great field position. We were ready. The Dolphins were ready. How come you guys weren't ready?
Officials had not blown their whistle. I guess first question is your thoughts on that decision, and B, can't really do it again, right? Ship has sailed.
Yeah, I think Darren Rizzi and obviously Adam Gates, they understand. They want to jump on top of this Pittsburgh Steelers team. They are a juggernaut of a football team, are the Steelers. And if you're the Dolphins and you're trying to steal one away from Mike Tomlin, you got to pull all the tricks out of the bag. And special teams is how you go about getting it done.
Had a chance to visit with Mike Tomlin, always even-keeled as their head coach, trying to keep their routine the same week in and week out. It was actually the Steelers' longest road trip of the season, remarkably. 2,000 of the 6,000 miles that they'll travel as a team this season coming on this road trip alone. So Franks boots it into the end zone, and Toussaint will take a knee, and here comes Ben Roethlisberger, the site of his first ever career start, and this was one of the themes. Le'Veon Bell against the worst rushing defense in the NFL.
He's averaging over 100 yards rushing in each of the first 2 games since he has come back, and the Miami Dolphins run defense has been non-existent. Big names on that defensive line. They've been creased with big-time run plays, and Bell's expected to have a big-time game here today. The one portable part about offense that usually travels well is always your run game, and Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, they're loaded and ready to run the football.
D'Angelo Williams flanking Roethlisberger on 1st and 10. Big Ben from the gun, goes through his reads, throws, and completes. That's the tight end, Xavier Grimble. First down on the catch and run, a pickup of 11. Tonight, it's one of the most debated issues of the election. Are Syrian refugees coming to the U.S. without proper vetting? Find out on 60 Minutes tonight. Talked to Ben Roethlisberger about his tight ends. Of course, the absence of Heath Miller, who announced his retirement at the end of last season. Said all of these young tight ends do something well, bring something different to the table. And this kid Grimble has been very good. Practice squad player last year, as they call a run play here with Bell on 1st and 10. Roethlisberger said that Jesse James is probably the closest to being that complete package, Solomon, that Heath Miller was for this team for so long.
Well, Heath Miller could do it all. They would run tight end screens with Heath Miller. He could dominate at the line of scrimmage in terms of his blocking technique. Now, it's hard to replace and get someone to do everything that Heath Miller could do. But the one thing about being a Pittsburgh Steelers, you're going to play tight end on this football team, you better be able to block.
Roethlisberger on 2nd and 7. The give to Bell. Able to sneak his way through the slightest of creases. Late flag comes in behind the play. Bell tackled by Kiko Alonso. And Ed Hockley and his crew have been busy in this first quarter.
Holding offense number 81. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul to keep 2nd down.
Jesse James penalized. We go to New York, JB and Coach Cowher.
Odell Beckham Jr. fumble leads to this.
Yeah, Terrence West 1-yard run right now, and Baltimore up 10-0 early in the first quarter in New York.
Spiro, Solomon, and Chris.
All right, JB. Mike Tomlin looking on as the Ravens coming back down to earth after that surprising undefeated start. Looking for a big road win at MetLife Stadium here in Miami. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcots, Chris Fisher, 2nd and 14. Roethlisberger from the gun as they work from their own 31. Here come the Dolphins. Roethlisberger able to find Bell. Little screen pass. Bell out past the 35, so a minimal pickup of 4. As we go downstairs, say hello once again to Chris Fisher. Chris?
Thanks, Spiro. After Pittsburgh's last defensive series, Mike Mitchell went back to the locker room. The free safety was evaluated. He suffered a left knee injury. His return is questionable.
All right, Chris, it is a Steelers secondary that is already thin. We could get Robert Golden back today, but we'll keep you updated on Mitchell's status as we go on. 3rd and 10. Roethlisberger sacked. Another flag comes in right around the line of scrimmage. One thing Miami has done well this season defensively, and that is get to the quarterback. Second most sacks in the NFL. It was Andre Branch who got to Roethlisberger first. And once again, a big play for the Dolphins, negated due to penalty. Now, there's many reasons why a team starts the season 1-4. And certainly penalties have been an issue for Adam Gase and the Dolphins.
There were 2 fouls by the defense on the play, holding number 41. That penalty is declined. There was also, after the play was over, a personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 98. That is enforced from the dead ball spot where the quarterback was sacked. Automatic first down.
So the penalty on Maxwell negated, and Jason Jones, the man penalized at the end of that play, Salmon, just unacceptable.
Oh, yeah, and they dial up the play. There it is right there. That's Jason Jones right there pushing one of the offensive linemen over the pile. There it is right there. Number 78, Alejandro Villanueva, takes a shot from Jones. And these are the kind of undisciplined plays that have hurt the Miami Dolphins. Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator, dials up a play that gets home, gets to Ben Roethlisberger. You're going to get off the field on third down, and then the bonehead play by Jones gives them a new set of downs, something that I'm sure angers their head coach, Adam Gase.
Jones should know better. 9th season in the league out of Eastern Michigan. So instead of a loss of 11, it's a 1st and 10. Huge turnaround in his first quarter. Little pitch play, end around. This is Darius Hayward-Bay breaking free. Still going, 15-10, and he's in for the Steelers touchdown. 60 yards on the end around.
Now watch, here's Hayward-Bay coming here. Here's the defensive back in coverage. He's going to have an opportunity to make the tackle on his own receiver. Look as he comes over, but watch the physicality of Darius Hayward-Bay. You don't expect that from a wide receiver to be able to run through a tackler. Tackling has been a problem for the secondary with the Miami Dolphins. And now look at, you're going to see the offense for Pittsburgh go for a 2-point conversion here.
Try to extend this to a 5-point lead. And the Steelers' drive was over with Jones' penalty. Turned around what would have been a 4th and long. And gave them a fresh set of downs, and all they needed was one play by Darius Hayward-Bay to get in for 6. So 2-point attempt here with 5 and change left in the quarter. Roethlisberger from the gun, pump fakes, throws end zone. It is caught. Le'Veon Bell. And so the Steelers convert and take an 8-3 lead. Darius Hayward-Bay, you can put this one right at the top of his career highlight reel. 60 yards on the end around, and then Roethlisberger to Bell for the 2-point conversion. A 60-yard touchdown run from Darius Hayward-Bay, who's been a bit of a disappointment since the Raiders took him 7th overall back in the 09 draft. He's found a home with the Steelers. You saw Todd Haley embrace him on the sideline when he came off the field. 2-point conversion gets the Steelers lead to 5. And that Jason Jones unsportsmanlike penalty, Salmon, looming awfully large.
There's no doubt you can't give good teams second chances like what you did with Jones on the penalty.
Jakeem Grant, who had that long punt return touchdown last week, takes a knee as we go back to the two-point try.
This is Xavier Grimmel. Look at the block right here. That's going to allow Le'Veon Bell to get open in the corner of the end zone. Now, you can call it a pick, you can call it a rub, but I call it a block when you can do that and take out the defender to get Le'Veon Bell so wide open. Got to give Todd Haley, Ben Roethlisberger, and Pittsburgh Steelers offense a lot of credit for being able to get their receivers open on the goal line. We saw that during the week on tape. They run a lot of those screen and picks in and around the goal line.
Ajayi, the long setback on 1st and 10 as they begin from their own 25. Ajayi making another start. Arian Foster is available today after missing the last 3 with hamstring and groin injuries. Thursday, your weekend starts here. It's an NFC North battle between the Bears and the Packers as they go head-to-head in prime time. Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. We are in Miami, Hard Rock Stadium. Spiro Ditas, Salman Wilcox, Chris Fisher, our producer Ryan Galvin, Andy Goldberg, our director, and the rest of our fantastic CBS crew. Play action from Tannehill on 2nd and 9. He fires and it's nearly picked off the hands of William Gay. That's one he would want to have back.
This pass is intended for Kenny Stills, who slips and falls down. Now look at the pattern reading. It allows Gay to be able to undercut the route when Stills fell down. And he drops it. So if you're the Miami Dolphins and you want to hang into this ball game, you cannot slip, fall down, can leave your quarterback unprotected. And they've got to begin to connect on some of these early opportunities. Pittsburgh Steelers are one of those teams. You give them second chances, they will bury you.
Keith Butler saw something in his unit he didn't like, so the Steelers burn a timeout. And we'll step aside. 5:01 to play. Dolphins have it down 5 on CBS. Well, the most sacked quarterbacks in the history of the sport. You saw Tannehill at the end of that little montage. No quarterback has been sacked more since Tannehill came into the league as a first-round pick back in 2012. He's been sacked 11 times alone in the last 2 weeks. Big play here on 3rd and 9. Foster flanks Tannehill as they work from inside the 25. Tannehill under pressure, had to step kind of awkwardly, and that pass for Landry is incomplete. And once again, Salman, the pressure coming from right up the middle.
Well, the pressure didn't allow Tannehill to drive the ball over to Jarvis Landry. Look at this nice route. Nice move put on William Gay. He's open. Would have been a first down, but there you could see defenders swarming and swirling all around Tannehill. We talked about being able to climb the pocket, which is something that they want him to do, to be able to drive the ball down the field. You can't climb a pocket when it's not clean in front of you.
Half of Miami's possessions this season have resulted in a punt. That's tied for the highest such percentage in the league with the Vikings. That punt from Matt Darr, who's been very good for them in his couple of seasons here in Miami. 42 yards as he angles it out of bounds just outside the 30.
Welcome back to Hard Rock Stadium here in the first quarter, where Pittsburgh leads the Dolphins 8-3. And today's a very unique game. We have Maurkice Pouncey, the center for the Steelers, and his identical twin, Mike Pouncey, the center for the Miami Dolphins. And if you can see in the end zone here, 4 rows of the Pouncey friends and family are with us. I'm joined by their mother, Lisa, right now. And Lisa, first off, got to ask you about this shirt here. Split down the middle, Maurkice and Mike.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
What do you think about the shirt just overall?
We had to represent for both of them, so we did, and they both have the 51 and then 53, so we just cut it down the middle.
Who are you rooting for today?
I'm rooting for both of them. I wanted to go into overtime and tie, and then we're happy, everybody.
Sounds great. 97 Pouncey family and friends here today, Spiro.
What a moment for Lisa and the rest of that Pouncey family as Jesse James makes the catch over the shoulder. We had a chance to visit with Mike on Friday, and they reminisced about their first year that they spent away from each other. It was their junior year at college in Florida when Maurkice was drafted by the Steelers. And Mike said he was off earning money as a pro player in the NFL. I had to hit him up for some cash a couple of times that year, but what a moment for those two brothers and their family.
Yeah, Mike told us that it was a point of growth for both of them. The first time they had spent time apart, but they are still best of friends, and they do a good job of taking care of one another and their mom.
On 2nd and 2, this is D'Angelo Williams trying to dance across the 40, about a yard short of the marker. Back to New York, JB and Coach Callum.
Washington missing tight end Jordan Reed, but
Yeah, but they got Jamison Crowder. He catches this right now from Kirk Cousins, 16 yards out. They lead 7-0, looking for their 4th straight win after an 0-2 start.
back to Spiro and Solomon.
Nice little turnaround for the Redskins. 3 straight wins. Nothing like those NFC East battles as they play in the first half. Big decision here for Todd Haley and the Steelers. Play clock down to under 5 on 3rd and 1. And now Roethlisberger has to burn a timeout.
Timeout Pittsburgh. That's their second. It's a 30-second timeout.
A couple more seconds for Haley to look down on that play sheet and figure out what they want to do here on 3rd and 1. Coming up tonight on CBS, NCIS Los Angeles faces off against an assassin. Don't miss an action-packed new episode tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS.
Mike Tomlin hates to burn one of those timeouts. Hope it doesn't come back to haunt him. Whenever you have guys who are not used to being in the huddle, Eli Rogers in, Marcus Wheaton, we already said, not playing in today's game, and you have a young receiver who don't quite know where to go line up. Ben had to burn precious time off the clock just trying to get everyone set up, and then didn't have enough time to be able to read the defense and get the ball snapped in time. And so instead of taking a penalty, he was forced to burn a timeout.
Eli Rogers, the Miami native, back in the lineup after missing the last 2 games with a turf toe injury. Critical 3rd and 1 as this Dolphins defense tries to get off the field. This is Bell. First down run and more inside Dolphins territory. Spinning his way down to the 47 as Bell passes 3,000 yards rushing in his career. Fastest player to get to 3,000 and 1,500 yards receiving.
There you go here, but watch how they just able, to split the defense there. They use the motion to be able to pull the linebackers out of position, and then Le'Veon Bell is able to hit it coming downhill. Look, fastest player in NFL history to reach 3,000 rushing yards and 1,500 yards receiving. We told you he's a dual threat, and the offense is going to continue to go through him.
Sammy Coates in motion on 1st and 10. End around play. This is Antonio Brown trying to find the edge. Close to the 40. And run out of bounds. Just to get back to Le'Veon Bell, last year was such a trying year for him. We spoke to him about it last night. Suspended the first couple of games. Then that season-ending MCL injury saw him in Week 8, just as he was starting to get his season going. He's come back with a really new perspective, and what a performer he's been for Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin loves him. He said it's more than just his versatility. He's tough. He's very physical, and he just has an intuitive sense in terms of about the way he runs the football, where he can make defenders miss in the phone booth.
Final 2 minutes of the quarter. 2nd and 4. Play action from Roethlisberger, finding Brown, who has been a monster for this offense, has led the league in catches each of the last 2 years. Top of the list again this season, as the end of the day with 37 catches. First down, Steelers.
Antonio Brown, as good as they come at the wide receiver position, because he can do so many things. I think once he has the ball in his hands, that's why you see him on reverses, some of those bubble screens. He becomes almost like a running back. He's much stronger than his stature would suggest, and he's very tough and difficult to tackle in space.
Roethlisberger, 5 of his first 6. Play action again here on 1st and 10. Takes a shot, far side of the field, incomplete. Off the hands of Grimble, the tight end. Grimble, a practice squad player for Tomlin last season. Neville Hewitt was there on the coverage.
But they were able to clear out that area of the field. Look, Antonio Brown's down the field, and you see Grimble, he has to just be able to get maybe one more step on the defending linebacker, Hewitt.
Roethlisberger scours that play sheet on his wrist. You see his numbers to this point. This will be 2nd and 10 from inside the Dolphins 30. Roethlisberger in the face of pressure lets her rip. Looking in the direction of Brown, too high and falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Well, this is where the Dolphins defense have to really step up, and they can only blame themselves if they can't get off the field. We talked about it, Vance Joseph, defense coordinator, his defense coming into week 6. This defense has played more snaps than any other defense in the league and logged more minutes on the field than any other defense. And this is where you can save yourself. You've got to be able to get off the field on 3rd down.
You see the time of possession staying true to what we've seen with this Miami team all season. 3rd and 10. Here come the Dolphins, once again getting the Roethlisberger. This time no flags. Cameron Wake and Andre Branch meeting at Big Ben.
Cameron Wake coming off the edge. Take a look at him in that sprinter stance. And you've got Jesse James, the tight end, trying to block him. They don't give him any help. Ben has no chance. As you mentioned, they were able to come in and just pour in and get to the quarterback. Linebacker as well as Cameron Wake able to get home.
There's Jordan Berry. Actually attempted a fake field goal last week in that home win over the Jets. A little short kick will be about a 28-yard attempt as Tannehill comes back onto the field. Week 6 continues later today on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Monday Night Affair tomorrow. Jets, Cardinals at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida. Final 26 seconds of this first quarter. Spiro Ditas, Almond Wilcox, Chris Fisher. 8-3 Steelers. Dolphins took the early 3-0 lead. And then that critical penalty on Jason Jones, negating a sack of Roethlisberger, gave the Steelers a fresh set of downs. In the very next play, Darius Hayward made that 60-yard touchdown run. That's Dominique Jones, signed just a couple of days ago off their roster. Last week made his Dolphins debut, had a couple of catches as they try to shore up a tight end position that does a little bit thinner after Jordan Cameron is on the shelf, Solomon, after another concussion.
And as you can see, Adam Gase doing something to help protect his quarterback, that time getting Tannehill out on the move where he's able to make that throw over to Jones. But, you know, we know that Tannehill is an athletic quarterback. He wants Tannehill to use more of his athleticism at times when the play breaks down. You've got to be able to save yourself from getting sacked and hit by the opposing defense.
Start of the second quarter in Miami. Adam Gase this week dealing with really his first crisis moment as a rookie NFL head coach, cutting multiple players, including a couple of guys who started for him on his offensive line just last week. 2nd and 2. Tannehill handing to Ajayi as he gets to just about the 21-yard line. But you know, we know about Gase as an offensive mastermind, play caller, but how he navigates through this situation, Solomon, will be very interesting.
Yeah, they're at a crossroads, and he said that after last week's game, he went back to the facility, watched the tape. He was so angry because he said, you know, we have players where they're not giving the kind of effort needed to go out and win football games. He said, and you get to the point where you say, you know what, I'll take guys with lesser talent who are just going to do it right and play with a high sense of energy each and every week. And I think it's a critical moment for a head coach to understand exactly what he wants on his football team.
On 3rd and 1, Ajayi trying to get to the 21 and appears to have enough for a first down, and they do. But you know, you talk about a crash course for an NFL head coach. You had to face Pete Carroll in Seattle week 1. Then they go to New England in week 2, barely eked by Cleveland. It could very easily be 0-5, but he has found out very quickly in this league that being a head coach very different than being an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he cut 2 players on the offensive line during the week, and I asked him, I said, are you supported? He said, we have every support of everyone in the building in making those kind of moves, and when you do it, you need the support from people upstairs.
Steelers safety Mike Mitchell is back on the field after he left with a left knee injury earlier. As Tannehill finds Devontae Parker. And end of the day with 15 catches on the season. Had that great week 2 performance at New England in that second half when they nearly came back But they really need all hands on deck to get their offensive issues sorted out.
Well, the real key is Adam Gase was brought here to really improve the quarterback position in Ryan Tannehill. And so at the end of the day, he's going to be judged and gauged on how well he can bring Ryan Tannehill along. After 5 games, most people want to run him out of town because so far it hasn't looked so good.
2nd and 3, quick throw is caught by Parker again. And that will be enough for the first down as his forward progress takes him out to about a 3-yard gain. What have you seen so far from Tannehill?
Well, this is what they want from Ryan Tannehill. Get the ball out of his hands quickly and accurately. He's gotten the ball out quick, hasn't always hit the target. They failed on 1 3rd down attempt to get the ball over to Jarvis Landry, and the ball fell incomplete. But these short, quick rhythm passes is really about getting him into rhythm so that he can play at a high level. They're also meant to help the offensive line provide protection.
1st and 10. This is Ajayi. He's been their workhorse till this point. Arian Foster, if you've just joined us, is up. We've seen him on the field, albeit briefly, as Ajayi picks up 7. And this is a kid that was in Gase's doghouse. Didn't react well to not being named the starter opening day, so Gase left him behind. Didn't even make the trip to Seattle. But slowly over the last couple of weeks, Ajayi has fought his way back into the good graces of Gase.
And they want to be able to get Arian Foster, as you saw there, get him on the field. But right now it's about Ajayi with the power running game.
Gase says that I can trust them again, especially after last week, which Gase said was Ajayi's best game of the season.
Start offense, number 23. 5-yard penalty with 2nd down.
That's Ajayi right on cue. As Gase looks down for a play here on 2nd and 8. Dolphins are just 1 and 4. Worst start since 2007. But what a win this would be if they could somehow find a way against the Steelers team that's playing as well as anyone in the league. Tannehill under pressure somehow gets it off and finds the tight end Sims. A pickup of a dozen. Pressure was coming from Arthur Moats. What a play by Tannehill.
Yeah, he was able to maintain his poise, Spiro, because watch the defender. He's going to come right here and get right into the face of Tannehill. Now, under pressure, still delivers the ball accurately and on time to Sims, who gets the catch and run. Ball location is everything on this kind of route because he can catch, turn, and get up the field to create a first down. And now you see some rhythm in this Miami Dolphins offense. It all starts with Tannehill getting the ball out of his hands quickly.
They haven't scored many points, but they've been able to move the football so far in this first half. They play the drive. Tannehill under pressure somehow escapes the sack. Steelers giving chase. Is gaining the colors. Applied pressure. Tannehill connects. Marquise Gray inside the 5. A touchdown-saving tackle on the play. 53 yards on the strike from Tannehill.
Look, here's Marquise Gray right here. Now, first of all, watch Tannehill's going to get hit. This is where he proves his toughness, but then watch his vision upfield. He still can see his receiver coming open down the field. He turns and throws this ball with a great laser. I thought the poise and competitiveness of Tannehill to get that ball beyond the defender, William Gay, who was beat on the play. It was an incredible play by Tannehill.
First catch of the season from Marquise Gray. Tannehill pump fakes, throwing end zone on the run. It is caught for the Dolphins touchdown. It's Dominique Jones. And Miami back in front.
Conversation between the officials down on the field, but I got to tell you what, I'm impressed with what I saw in those 2 plays by Tannehill. This is why it was Mike Pouncey who told us that, hey, we believe in Ryan Tannehill. His teammates believe in him because he shows toughness.
Illegal formation offense. Number 70 was on the line of scrimmage, did not report eligible, and was uncovered. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
second penalty today charged to Jawan James. He had that unsportsmanlike on their first drive.
Well, it's not really on him. It's up to one of these receivers. Someone has to get up on the line of scrimmage to cover Jawan James. He's doing what he's supposed to do. So the receivers to his side of the field, which were actually two tight ends, Jones and Sims, they were aligned illegally even though they didn't cover the tackle, Jawan James.
Really summarizes this Dolphins season till this point. So they're backed up to right inside the 7, 1st and goal. Ajayi going backwards. James Harrison, the old warhorse, making first contact. A loss of 6.
Well, they just didn't block him. He was coming off that backside. They cut it off on the front side. Take a look. You can see the black jerseys. They were able to cut it off, and then you could see Harrison coming in from the backside to keep Jay Ajayi from cutting it back.
Harrison's been doing it for 14 years. A couple of Super Bowls, NFL Defensive Player of the Year. What a career he's had. 2nd and goal. Tannehill from the gun. From their own 12. Tannehill pats it, completes right at the 5. And will mark it right around the 4-yard line. Caught by Kenny Stills. It's a pickup of 8. And now the biggest play call of the first half coming up here for Adam Gase.
I think, they've been able to get some movement running the football. But at this point, it's about matchups. It's about finding Jarvis Landry or Devontae Parker on the edge. Be able to run some kind of crossing routes yourself.
See what Tannehill has done so far on this drive. The Steelers bend but don't break defense. Trying to get off the field. 3rd and goal. Tannehill slinging it, end zone, incomplete. Off the hands of the intended receiver, Deion Sims. Coverage on the play by Ross Cockrell, who's been very good, trying to plug up some holes in the cornerback position for Tomlin.
Yeah, so the penalty cost him a touchdown. You can see that ball looked like it should have been caught by Sims, but Cockrell actually came in over the shoulder of Sims and was able to break it up. Ross Cockrell has been a cornerback I've been impressed with since watching this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. He's one of those young, talented defensive backs, and you saw him making a play there, saving a touchdown.
With a battle Brandon Marshall last week against the Jets back in week 3. Acquitted himself very well against A.J. Green. As Andrew Franks, who hit from 30, this time good on the 23-yard chip shot. So disappointing finish to that drive for Miami. They inch a little bit closer, down 8-6. Well, this first half, really a snapshot of what the season has been for both teams. Dolphins shooting themselves in the foot. Touchdown pass from Tannehill negated on the penalty that was called on Jawan James. Illegal formation that Adam Gase was complaining about to the official during the stoppage. And Steelers, they bend but don't break defense.
Adam Gase is not happy with the fact that they called the penalty. He felt like his tackle had been covered up. He wants to show the official, I have Exhibit A, that we were in legal formation.
Some of the great NFL quarterbacks who have donned the jersey number 7. I think we could put Ben Roethlisberger on that list. That included our good buddy Boomer Esiason. 1st and 10. Roethlisberger brings his offense back onto the field. They give chase, somehow escapes the sack. And that pass is incomplete. It's taken by Rashad Jones. Now we'll have to sort through the penalty. Let's see what the officials say here.
Great catch by Rashad Jones. This is going to be an interception, because I can tell you right now, he made a spectacular play on the football.
Took that one from just above the turf. Here's Hockley.
Holding, offense number 85. That penalty is declined. Miami's ball.
Wow.
Rashad Jones, who had a bad missed tackle on the Darius Hayward-Bay touchdown. Solomon Atones here with an incredible pick.
Yeah, he is a star of a player. Phenomenal. This is just a great play. This is the effort and energy that Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, is looking for. It's the kind of spectacular plays that they just have not been getting from anyone on this football team. That ball was intended for Sammy Coates, and Rashad Jones miraculously dives out in front of the pass from Ben Roethlisberger.
We will review
to get the interception.
First INT that Roethlisberger has thrown in the last 3 games, and you see him now gingerly limp to the sideline. What a turning point potentially in this game. Every turnover subject to automatic review, so they'll take another look upstairs. First pick, if it stands, on the season for Jones, and it would be the 16th of his career. Another look. Rashad Jones, the shoestring INT for the Dolphins.
The ruling in the field stands. There is no obvious evidence that the rubber was touched down by contact or that he did not intercept the ball. First down.
See Phillips get Roethlisberger right around the back of the foot. 17 yards on the return, and here is Roethlisberger walking into the locker room on his own power, but very gingerly. There's his backup, Landry Jones. He didn't get his first NFL experience till last season, his 3rd in the NFL. So huge turning point here off the turnover. 1st and 10 inside the Pittsburgh 15. Ajayi getting a little bit closer down to the 6. Zach Mettenberger is inactive today, so they only have one backup quarterback behind Roethlisberger, and things getting a little bit more interesting.
You know, we said it coming in, the only way you felt like Pittsburgh this game could get away from them is turnovers. It does equalizes things, and obviously with Ben Roethlisberger out, it draws your competitor, the Miami Dolphins, who've been struggling coming in with a 1-4 record, draws them even that much closer to being able to stay in this game.
2nd and 4. This is Damian Williams. Seeing him carry for the first time, taking on tacklers. Really that entire defense. Flag comes in from the back of the end zone. There was Hargrave, their 3rd round pick, who's starting to come into his own, credited for the tackle.
Holding. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat 2nd down.
3rd penalty on Jawan James. Steelers telling us it is the left knee of Roethlisberger. His return is questionable.
Jawan James, he's struggling at moments in this game. Remember, Adam Gates had benched him earlier in the season in a game against the Cleveland Browns, and he talked about it when we met with him yesterday. Can't keep having these lapses in terms of critical moments in ball games. Now inside the red zone, they need he and the offensive line to hold up.
Tannehill on 2nd and 14. And the underneath pass. This is Williams. But the Steelers not fooled. They'll mark him down right around the 18-yard line. Vince Williams, who has been a monster in the 3 games, stepping in for Ryan Shazier on the tackle.
One thing about this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, they give up yards. They don't give up a whole lot of points. Only one team all season long in their previous 5 games has scored over 20 points against Mike Tomlin's defense. So they do a good job of keeping the opponents out of the end zone. Keith Butler, defensive coordinator. This defense, I think, continues to get better, especially on the back end where they're very young in their secondary. They play fast, they play physical, and they have greater recognition.
3rd and 14. Again, Tannehill goes underneath. This is the running back Williams, short of the 10. Needed the 3 for the first down. So once again, Dolphins offense given a pretty good opportunity. Short field after the turnover. But once again, he'll have to settle for a field goal try.
Yeah, you can see the tackling. Don't know that possession had a lot of imagination. They were not able to get anyone open. They were not able to scheme anyone open. I think you just have to use greater creativity and imagination to get defenders off their mark, to be able to get someone like a Jarvis Landry or one of your tight ends open in the end zone.
Andrew Franks is hit from 30. He's hit from 23, this time from 29 yards out. And he is good once again, but all eyes right now on that left knee of Ben Roethlisberger. See him go.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Dolphins back in front. 29-yard field goal, but the obvious concern for Mike Tomlin in that Steelers sideline, the left knee of Ben Roethlisberger. Landry Jones getting ready, the only other healthy quarterback on their active roster today. As we told you, Zach Mettenberger, whom they signed after the start of the season, he is inactive today. And so here comes Landry Jones, but let's take you back to the Roethlisberger pick. This was after the ball was thrown. You'll see him kind of clutch Solomon at that left knee. And now we can only await the update from the Steelers.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger, he's a tough quarterback. Throughout his 13-year career, you only need to go back last year in that playoff game against the Cincinnati Bengals where he knocked out of the game with that shoulder injury. He came back to lead them down the field to kick the game-winning field goal. They ended up getting out of there with a win, so you never count out Big Ben.
So here is Landry Jones, a former fourth-round pick, fourth year in the league. And that's a pretty good idea if you're Todd Haley. Just hand it to Le'Veon Bell with 5 and change left. Usually a pretty good idea, 12 yards and a first down.
Well, we said the offense is going to go through Le'Veon Bell, even with Ben in the game. And Todd Haley, you're right, Spiro, he knows that with a backup quarterback, it's now confirmed. You've got to go through Le'Veon Bell, lean on this strong, powerful Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, allow them to eat up clock and really try to pound and lean on this defense that's been struggling against the run.
Penalty flag whistles that play dead.
False start offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, it's first down.
That's on Alejandro Villanueva, West Point graduate. Man who has served 3 tours in Afghanistan. And now in his second season as the Steelers starting left tackle.
He is a huge mountain of a man at 6'9", 320. He's a road grader up front. One of the reasons why this Pittsburgh Steelers run game has been very good all season long.
1st and 15 after the penalty. The 27-year-old Jones hands to Bell. Crosses the 35, close to the 40, and you just hate to see that for Roethlisberger. Solomon maybe playing the best football of his career. Just otherworldly with the numbers he's been putting up. Steelers offense have been humming. And it's just a reminder at how fine a line that is between success in this league and injury.
Well, that's why you consider this team to be a Super Bowl contender, right? Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. You take one of those players out, and then it becomes a question. A healthy Ben Roethlisberger means this team has real expectations to go to a Super Bowl.
And Sammy Coates in motion on 2nd and 7. Hands off to Bell, making the initial tacklers miss. Close to the 45, needs the 47 for the first down. A pickup of 6. Neville Hewitt on the tackle, and a critical 3rd and 1 coming up.
Yeah, you know, we talked to Ben yesterday about coming off that Week 3 loss at Philadelphia. We said, what is it about this team that allows you to bounce back so quickly? He said, whenever we're faced with adversity, we don't panic. He said, we have veterans on this team who understands how to overcome setbacks. Right now, there's some adversity. Without Big Ben here on the road, they've got to be able to pound away on 3rd down and create a first down and still try to find a way to win a football game without their quarterback.
Steelers go 3 tight ends on 3rd and 1. Jones back to pass. Throws off his back foot, and that one was nearly picked. Off the hands of Tony Lippett. The former 5th-round pick making his 3rd straight start for the injured Xavier Howard.
Andrew tried to throw this ball away. He didn't throw it far enough. Lippett is a promising young corner. He's got excellent range. He nearly hauled it in for an interception. And I'm sure Todd Haley and Mike Tomlin is going to tell Landry Jones that you've got to be able to throw it away and make sure no one gets it.
Boy, how quickly this game has turned as the Steelers have to punt. Jordan Berry's punt will take a Dolphins bounce, and they will mark it just inside the Miami 30. So 9-8 Dolphins. Tannehill will have one more chance, 2 and change left. in this first half. And we're told that a lot of those youngsters were actually helping Steelers rookie corner Artie Burns on what to look for, Solomon, when you buy a winter coat. He, of course, grew up here in Miami. Didn't have to worry about those big coats growing up as a kid.
Taking the tutoring from the little guys, right?
Again, Ben Roethlisberger escorted into the Steelers locker room with a left knee injury, if you've just joined us. 9-8, Miami in front. Off 3 field goals from Andrew Franks. This is Jay Ajayi taking on tacklers. Showing some of his toughness. 14 hard-fought yards for a Miami first down.
He's going to go here, but he runs extremely hard. Look at, they've got Sims, the tight end, almost as if he's a fullback. And he's able to get to the second level. He's breaking tackles. This is where the Dolphins can really improve the run game. Now they've got their 5 starting offensive linemen. They came here ranked second to last in their rushing attack, already showing improvement.
Keep it on the ground to Ajayi as well. Last week had a season-high 13 carries. He's followed that up with by far his best half of the season, 11 carries for approaching 52 yards. 2-minute warning. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Final 2 minutes first half. Miami trying to build on a 9-8 lead as we welcome you back to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Arian Foster flanks Tannehill on 2nd and 10. Tannehill again, quick delivery on the pass. Able to find Devontae Parker for a pickup of 6 to set up a 3rd down. Coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. We'll send you to JB and the fellas in New York. All the latest NFL scores, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. All to come on the Verizon Halftime Report.
How about this? Arian Foster is in the game as the Dolphins look to go into their 2-minute offense with all 3 timeouts in their hip pocket.
3rd and 4. The man in motion is Stills. Tannehill again has time. Completes. That's Foster, who has been so dangerous in his career as a pass catcher out of the backfield. 7 yards and a Miami first down.
Well, he just comes right out of the backfield, and they don't even hide it. He gets wide open on this 3rd down play to be able to convert. Timmons has to come over to knock him out of bounds, and you can get Arian Foster going. He's not only excellent catching the ball out of the backfield, as you saw there, but in the outside zone run scheme, he's phenomenal with great patience, and he can break tackles.
Foster went down in that game week 3 at New England with a groin. Also re-aggravated a hamstring injury from training camp. They're finally ready after missing the last 3. 1st and 10. Tannehill's pass is incomplete. Intended for Parker. Very tight coverage on the play by Cockrell again, who got a hand on it.
Watch Ross Cockrell. Look how he just sits on the route. He's able to spin those hips. Good footwork, good technique, and still able to come with a hand and knock that ball away. We've already seen him do this a couple of times. Even save what could have been a touchdown to one of the tight ends down inside the end zone. So good coverage by Cockrell, good coverage by the secondary.
We asked William Gay about Cockrell. He said, boy, he's so even keeled. No matter big play or mistake, his emotions never change. 2nd and 10. It's Arian Foster trying to get a little bit closer to the 40. Tackled on the play by Lawrence Timmons. Year 10 for the Steelers defense. Their leading tackler entering week 6.
You know, 2-minute offense, you kind of want to hurry up. You want to speed it up a little bit. But I think that's one of the things that Adam Gates, what we talked about when we spoke with him, is that for Tannehill, slowing things down really has helped him in terms of processing. And it's about execution more than anything right now for Adam Gates in his offense, more so than playing that up-tempo style that he thinks would also be an advantage.
3rd and 7. Tannehill's going to take a shot. Has his man. It's caught. Jarvis Landry. And Miami in business. 38 yards from Tannehill.
Now they're going to go hurry up. Try to punch it in against the Steelers defense.
1st and goal. Run play called. Tannehill to give to Foster as they go right at the rookie corner and Miami product Artie Burns.
Yeah, here's going to be the play right here, but good accuracy by the quarterback, Tannehill. He puts it in a spot where only Jarvis Landry can get it. And look at that. Yeah, they were able to get Artie Burns to bite on the inside route, leaving Jarvis Landry wide open to make that catch. Great play by Landry.
Told you about Landry's incredible couple of years here with Miami. 4th in the league in catches entering this one today. 144 catches since the start of last season. Only Antonio Brown and Julio Jones have had more in what has been just a remarkable 2-season run. But now the question, can they punch it into the end zone?
First of all, that was a creative play to go ahead and scheme him open. But here you get a heavy run look, so watch out for play action if you're the Pittsburgh defense.
9th play of the drive, 2nd and goal. Quick handoff is taken by Williams. Touchdown!
He's calling in.
And finally, the Dolphins into the end zone.
They were able to sneak Damian Williams in. He was lined up at fullback, Spiro. I mean, if you're talking about wanting to get a quick hitter in there, they weren't going to even hand it to the tailback deep in the formation. They wanted something very quick. And you can see right here, there's the fullback right there. Williams was lined as close to Tannehill, while Jay Ajayi was lined up at the tailback position. He's able to sneak it in, as this offensive line was able to get some movement quick. Adam Gase is loving it, because this Pittsburgh Steelers defense
After the
is
touchdown,
tough.
unsportsmanlike conduct, 2 unsportsmanlike conduct fouls by the defense. The first one will be declined. The second one will be enforced on the kickoff. 15 yards.
So Hockley makes the call. With the heat and humidity always a factor here in South Florida. You saw Lawrence Timmons losing his lunch at the end of that play. Obviously have to get some IV fluids in him at halftime, but Adam Gase's offense goes 71 yards, 9 plays in just under 2.5 minutes. And suddenly you factor in the absence of Roethlisberger. Miami finally gaining some confidence getting into the end zone. And this is an entirely new ball game here at 15-8.
One foul will be enforced on the kickoff.
So one of the penalties will be enforced on the kickoff. And finally, Andrew Franks will set up for the extra point. Franks has been one of the storylines, 3 of 3 on field goals. His first PAT of the afternoon. So the Dolphins doubling up the Steelers, 16-8, with 21 seconds left before halftime. This was the penalty at the end of the play.
Yeah, choreographed, and there you can't do that, at least according to the new rules. And that's where I think coaches have to be able to help the players understand what you can and can't do, because it really does hurt your football team. And you know, we heard Coach Cowher talk about it on the NFL Today, and I agree with Coach Cowher that you can't take too much of the fun out of the game. The game still has to be fun, and I'm not so sure that I saw anything there between the two Dolphins players that really go against the spirit of the game.
There's Landry Jones, suddenly thrust under the microscope for the Steelers. Roethlisberger, a left knee injury. Hoping to get a further update for you at halftime. Another reminder, coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher standing by in New York. Get you caught up on all the Week 6 scores, plus a preview of Thursday Night Football, CBS and NFL Network. All that next on the Verizon Halftime Report.
Kind of nice to see this place rocking. As you take a look at the backup quarterback with Ben Roethlisberger out, Landry Jones. This place is starting to get some energy into it. And this Miami Dolphins football team, they're hanging around the Pittsburgh Steelers. We talked about it. Spiro said they were at the crossroads of the season after cutting players earlier in the week. Didn't know what we would expect to get from this Dolphins team today. They'd come out and put up a fight.
Dolphins beaten at home here by Tennessee last week. There's a short kick fielded here by Justin Gilbert, back from injury today. And Gilbert with a nifty little return. More flags flying at the end of the play as Gilbert crosses the 30 with 15 seconds remaining. 33 yards on the return.
Illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 51. 10 yards of course from the spot.
Well, if you've just joined us, this was the Roethlisberger injury. Throws a pick to Rashad Jones. He was clutching at his left knee right there. Roethlisberger, one of the things he talked about with us in our meeting with him yesterday and why he's had so much success, Solomon, is that very simply, I'm healthy again. Missed 5 games last year, had a knee injury, then a foot at the end of the season.
And how about this? Zach Mettenberger, their third quarterback on the roster, inactive today. So it's Landry Jones from here on out unless Ben can make his way back in.
So Jones, who has had only spot duty in his 4-year NFL career, may have to be their quarterback here for the final 2 quarters. Dolphins end the first half scoring 13 straight points and take an 8-point advantage into the locker room. End of the first half in Miami, 16-8. Dolphins in front. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24-karat magic in the air. Head to toe so clear. Look out.
We welcome you back to Miami, just about ready for the start of the second half. Dolphins closed the first half with 13 unanswered points and lead the Steelers 16-8. Let's take a look now at Who You're Lovin', presented by McDonald's. One of the big turning points of the first half. Big pass from Tannehill to Jarvis Landry, officially 39 yards on the completion. And then Damian Williams finally able to get the Dolphins into the end zone. As we welcome you back, this is Ben Roethlisberger live on the field. He did come out of the locker room holding his helmet in his hand. Potentially could be some good news for the Steelers. Spiro Dietersom and Wilcox with you, and can kind of throw everything else out the window. The Roethlisberger injury, the biggest story of the first half.
There's no doubt about it, because when Ben was in, this offense was on fire. Remember, Pittsburgh has over 120 yards rushing in the first half of this game, and they were in control. Then when Ben left the game, the offense was stagnant, and they didn't really get much out of their backup quarterback, Landry Jones. And so you have to wonder if Ben's going to be able to come back into this game. We see him putting on the baseball cap, which might foreshadow what we could expect here. And we see the backup Landry Jones warming up. But with Ben, we already know this is an entirely different offense. Without him, that means you have to lean on the run game with Le'Veon Bell and hope you can get a couple of shots down the field with their talented receiver, Antonio Brown.
All right, let's go downstairs, get the latest from Chris Fisher. Chris?
Spiro, as you mentioned, Ben Roethlisberger ran onto the field here. He has not taken a warm-up throw. Landry Jones was taking all the warm-ups. I did ask Mike Tomlin if his offense would operate differently if Landry Jones is out there. He said Ben Roethlisberger is Ben Roethlisberger. Landry Jones is Landry Jones. You can expect it to be quite a bit different if he plays here in the third quarter. We saw Roethlisberger talking with Coach Mike Tomlin. He was confirming that he was ready to go. We'll have to see if it plays out.
All right, there is Jones. There is Roethlisberger trying to work his way through. So at least for the moment, looks like he's at least going to try to see how that left knee feels with some warm-up throws. This is a Pittsburgh offense that has looked really unbeatable the last couple of weeks since the return of Le'Veon Bell. But they'll have some time to get Roethlisberger warm as the defense comes on, and Ryan Tannehill will lead the Dolphins offense onto the field. What about some second half adjustments on them?
I think what you could expect for Pittsburgh, think Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown without being in the game. You got to lean on the run game and hope that Antonio Brown can make a big play. He also can make a big play for you in special teams. And then if you're the Miami Dolphins, you got to shore up the run defense. Again, they've allowed 120 rush yards by this Pittsburgh Steelers team in the first half. They've got to do better in the second half.
So the Dolphins offense onto the field. First and 10. They'll start from their own 25. Tannehill so far bounce back performance after his struggles the last couple of weeks through a 7-touchdown pass that was negated on that penalty. But their first half possessions over the first 2 quarters.
Got off to a good start to the game. 9 plays, go down the field, couldn't punch it in, had to settle for a field goal. But you could see they finished off the first half by not only going down the field on 9 plays, but being able to score a touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that's been stingy as of late, only giving up an average of maybe 20 points over the last. Right now the Miami Dolphins, they seem to be clicking on offense.
On 2nd and 10, Tannehill quick drop and finds his target. That's Landry, had the big catch to set up the touchdown late at the end of the first half. That'll set up a 3rd and favorable distance. Anthony Chickillo is the injured Steeler. It's a pickup of 8 on the catch by Landry.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, clicking. Whenever you can get the ball to Jarvis Landry, I tell you, he's like a running back himself. Very powerful running through that potential tackle by Anthony Chickillo.
See Landry's numbers last week, only 28 receiving yards, season low, only 3 catches in that home loss here to the Titans. Adam Gase said that he was disappointed in himself not to get the football in the hands of his best offensive playmaker. But that has certainly been a focal point so far in this game. 3rd and 2 for Miami. That pass is caught, and once again it's Landry. First down Miami. Solomon, you caught it. Lined up in that right slot, a pickup of 5.
Well, I think when you can get him the ball, this offense is clicking. And they need easy completions in the early going of the possession. It opens up everything else, and as he starts to draw more attention, you see him now coming off the field, and you can really pound away with the run game because Jay Ajayi has been playing well so far.
Dolphins go 3 tight ends here on 1st and 10. A couple of minutes gone by in the second half. And we mentioned Jarvis Landry's numbers, Solomon. Only Antonio Brown and Julio Jones have more catches since the beginning of last year, but league-wide in terms of the national media still doesn't probably get the recognition he deserves for what's been just an astounding start to his career.
Yeah,
Injured Steelers, Stephon Tuitt for the Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers already short on this defense, particularly on that defensive line and among the linebackers.
Ben Roethlisberger has that left knee injury. The Steelers telling us that they had an X-ray. Results are pending. Jay Ajayi is healthy and showing some dynamic running ability. Another flag comes in at the end of the play. 21 yards on the run by Ajayi. Could be a potential late hit on Mike Mitchell.
After the runner was out of bounds, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 23. 15 yards, first down.
Kenny Stills has a block there, and then there's Deion Sims. He's able to secure the edge. Look at those 2 blocks right there. That's how you set the edge. They pull the backside guard, Jamon Bushrod, and they're able to get Jay Ajayi going in the run game. This is the best we've seen this Dolphins run game all season long. And then Mike Mitchell. He can't stay out of trouble when he goes over onto that Miami Dolphins sideline.
We've seen some extracurricular stuff from both teams, unsportsmanlike penalties. It's just something Mike Tomlin is not going to tolerate. So a career day for Ajayi continues. He'll catch a breather here with Damian Williams on the field. You see the 11 total penalties. 1st and 10. Tannehill's pass is short. One of the few that he has missed. Intended for the tight end Jones.
Yeah, we told you earlier that he has showed great poise while under pressure, but on this one, kind of panics. He short arms it because the pressure was right in his face, but he still has to be able to hang in there and hit his intended receiver. See, pressure was coming right at him. He just short armed that throw. Should have been an easy completion to Dominique Jones.
Here's the defensive coordinator for the Steelers, Keith Butler, 2nd season as their coordinator after 12 very successful years as their linebacker coach. 2nd and 10. This is Williams breaking free. What a run by Damian Williams. Close to the Steelers' 14. He picks up 10. Anthony Chickillo and Vince Williams on the tackle, but not before he picks up a first down.
You know, Pittsburgh Steelers came in here with the 5th best run defense in the National Football League. But right now, this Miami Dolphins, they're starting 5. Their offensive linemen, they're getting after Pittsburgh. They're getting the running backs to the 2nd level. And I know the Steelers are without a few hands on deck on defense in terms of the starters. Right now, the Dolphins are chewing up the yards when it comes to the running game.
See the first down discrepancy after what they had done the last couple of weeks. Different story in this game on 1st and 10. It's Williams going backward, and that's something that Ryan Tannehill and this offense just have not had, Solomon, and that's the support from a running game that has been dead last in the NFL.
Yeah, but doing much better today. But you know, we talk about Pittsburgh not having Cameron Hayward. They don't have Ryan Shazier in this game today, but they still have been good down inside the red zone. And that, to me, if you're the Dolphins, you want to come out of here with a win. You've got to be able to crack the goal line when you get into this position. You can see what they've done so far today running football. 88 rushing yards, by far better than their season average.
9th play of the drive. This is 2nd and 11. Tannehill throws. That's complete over the middle. Landry down to the 5. Dolphins needed the 4 for the first down. It's a pickup of about 9.5. And it'll set up a 3rd and 1.
Adam Gase trying to figure out what to dial up here. We talk about execution being the #1 thing. You can get the matchup with Jarvis Landry one-on-one. This looks like a heavy run set, so it's either run or play action.
Landry lined up at the bottom of your picture against William Gay. 3rd and 1. One play call. Foster not going to get it. And once again, that Steelers defensive front able to hold. And the frustration tells the story from Adam Gase.
Chickillo and McCullers, 93. Watch how they stay backside on this play. And they don't allow the cutback. You can see right there, just really doing a good job of dominating and controlling the line of scrimmage. No movement by Adam Gase's offensive line. Slamming the door shut on the Dolphins' run game.
Busy day continues for Andrew Franks, 3 of 3 on field goals. He's hit from 30, 23, and 29. This attempt from 24, and it's blocked. And Miami comes up empty. Huge special teams play for the Steelers. Pittsburgh still within 8.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Inferno, in theaters October 28th. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Back with you in Miami, and there's a sight for sore eyes for Steelers fans. Ben Roethlisberger, who left this game in the first half with a left knee injury, has deemed himself fit and healthy enough to return, showing some toughness here. 1st and 10 with the Steelers down 8. Right to the airways, and that pass intended for Antonio Brown incomplete as we go back to the blocked field goal by Daniel McCullers.
There he is right here, number 93. Keep an eye on that right arm of McCullers. Big play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had made the play previously on the 3rd and 1 play, not allowing the run for a first down. Then that right arm, that big paw, stretches it out, blocks the kick.
Former Tennessee Volunteer. 3rd season after they took him in the 6th round back in 2014 on 2nd and 10. That's Le'Veon Bell trying to find some open daylight. Right back to the line of scrimmage, tackled by Andre Branch.
Ben Roethlisberger saying, hey, that was a horse collar, because Le'Veon Bell looked like he was going to be off to the races, and they were able to haul him in by his collar. In fact, I don't know if there would have been any other way you would have been able to tackle him. Watch number 50 here. There's that hand right in the collar, Andre Branch.
Officials missed it. Big break for the Dolphins, 3rd and 10. Roethlisberger over the middle, what a catch! That's Eli Rogers, the Miami kid, back after missing the last 2 with that turf toe injury. 11 yards and a first down.
Rogers has great speed. These crossing routes, they're a problem. Look at that one-hand catch, ball thrown behind Rogers, but he's able to haul it in, pick up a first down. Ben has not been really accurate throwing the ball on that sore left knee. I think it's affecting his accuracy.
Rogers, who started at Miami Northwestern High School with his Steelers teammate Artie Burns, and also Teddy Bridgewater on that team. That pass from Roethlisberger somehow caught by Antonio Brown. Incredible catch. 16 yards as they move the chains again.
Ben says when the defensive back is in that trail technique, he's going to go at Antonio Brown. Give him a chance. He takes a lick from Rashad Jones, and I don't know how Antonio Brown was able to hold on to that football. Great catch.
Only the 2nd reception for the NFL's leader in catches, Antonio Brown. 1st and 10 from their own 47. Roethlisberger from the gun gives to Bell. And once again, that Dolphins run defense has been much better so far today. For those of you just joining us, Roethlisberger injuring his left knee late in the first half, throws the pick to Rashad Jones, and came up a bit hobbled on that left leg.
First interception he's thrown in 3 games, and they had to take him off the field and came out for the second half, and he wanted back in. For those of us who've known Ben Roethlisberger, you know he is Steeler tough, and he's going to battle with his teammates.
X-rayed during halftime, and the Steelers training staff making the decision that he was okay to return. Bell, a little draw play inside Miami territory. Flags come in. Tackle on the play by the safety Michael Thomas. A run of 7 could be coming back.
Holding offense number 66. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
It's their 5th-year guard and all-pro David DeCastro on the penalty.
Ben Roethlisberger coming back into this game, and you think about just how good he's been over his 13-year career. He's won a couple of Super Bowl trophies. He's taken the team to 3 and was part of that great draft class of quarterbacks in 2004, along with Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers. And for my money, I think Ben has had the best career of them both, and that's saying a lot amongst that group.
Well, this team has looked championship contention worthy without a doubt over the last couple of weeks. That's D'Angelo Williams, pickup of 7. Still well short of that first down marker. They will need the Miami 42, maybe 43 to move the chains.
Don't you think it energizes the other 10 guys in that huddle to see number 7 back in the game? We've seen a spark from Antonio Brown. We've seen a spark from many of the players on this team, and now they're on the move. Let's see if they convert.
Third and 12. Roethlisberger pump faked initially, and his pass is intercepted. Issa Abdul-Quddus. Another late flag at the end of the play as Roethlisberger throws his 2nd pick of the afternoon. Second INT of the season for Abdul-Quddus, the 60-year man out of
There was
Florida.
no foul on the play. Miami's ball, first down.
Roethlisberger gingerly walks to the sideline. Miami back in business. Up 8 on CBS. Well, that incredible two-game run for Ben Roethlisberger has hit a bit of a wall here. First 2 picks that he's thrown since week 3. Had that multi-interception game in the week 2 win at home over Cincinnati. Just threw one here to Abdul Quddus. So Miami's offense on the field. This is Ajayi breaking free. Inside the 25 all the way down to the 20. 32 yards and a first down, finally tackled by Mitchell and Vince Williams.
It's the outside zone play is what we talked about, sticking that foot in the ground and then going downhill. Look how they were able to set the edge. Good block on the edge by Devontae Parker, and Ajayi off to the races in that Steelers secondary.
A career day for Jay Ajayi, the second-year man out of Boise State, continues. His previous career high was 48 yards in their victory or loss last week against Tennessee. Today, 15 carries for 107 yards as he looks to build on that number. First down pass caught by Ajayi as he remains the workhorse even with the return to the lineup today of Arian Foster.
To show you what happened on the interception, we said Ben is struggling on that left knee. I think it's affecting his accuracy because right here, watch, he has his tight end wide open, and this is going to be Jesse James. But look, there's no way he would throw it here because there's 2 defenders bracketing Eli Rogers there. So that ball, I think, sails high as he was trying to get it to the wide open Jesse James. Ended up throwing it where there was too many defenders. That ball sailed high, ended up intercepted.
Just have to wonder how much discomfort he's feeling in that left leg as he watches here. 2nd and 7. Good hold by the Steelers defense. There's Ajayi trying to find some open room on the left side of the line. But this is where they've stalled today, getting into the red zone, Sam. And the question now, how do they punch it into the end zone?
Yeah, they've got to be able to score down here. And I believe they're having a difficult time running the ball down there. They run it in the field of play, but when they get inside the red zone, they're getting stuffed. I think they've got to be able to create some play-action pass opportunities. They've got to be able to free up one of the talented receivers with some kind of crossing route where you're able to free up a Landry jump.
The last time inside the red zone, they came away with nothing after the blocked field goal. 3rd and 6. That pass is caught. Parker, first down and more. 11 yards. It'll be 1st and goal for the Dolphins.
Pardon me, I think I should say they're trying to free up Jarvis Landry, but here they go inside to Devontae Parker. And they use Jarvis Landry on the outside route and bring Devontae Parker underneath where they find room to complete that pass. Those are the kind of combination routes in and around the goal line and inside the red zone that Tannehill can connect on, providing the protection holds up.
Told you about the big day Parker had in the loss at New England in week 2. 8 catches over 100 yards. Since then, he had only 7 catches over their
Miami.
previous 4.
That's their first. It's a 30-second timeout.
Boy, that has Gase's blood boiling. You don't want to burn those precious timeouts in what could be a potentially close finish.
And it really is about getting the right personnel on the field. Adam Gase ran all the way down the field. Look, he's looking and say, okay, what play did I call? I don't have the right personnel on the field. He's running all the way down to tell the official timeout. And he is hot because the communication between himself, coaches, and the players to get the right personnel grouping on the field. You can't run the play if you don't have the right personnel grouping on the field, meaning the right number of tight ends, receivers, running backs to be able to execute the play properly.
It was one of his backup tight ends, Dominique Jones, who was late to get into formation. So Gase had to burn the timeout. Jones, keep in mind, wasn't signed to their team until October the 3rd. Just under a couple of weeks ago. Still trying to get acclimated. 1st and goal. Ajayi cuts back, lunges end zone. He's short. It'll be a pickup of 4. Gay on the tackle. The Dolphins a little bit closer, trying to build on their 8-point lead.
This is what they mean by steel curtain. I mean, you just can't puncture that goal line against the Steelers defense. They want to try to run something quick to help them get into the end zone. Might want to isolate one of the receivers outside.
Tannehill under center. 2nd and goal. Ajayi into the end zone for the Miami touchdown.
got to give credit to Ryan Tannehill on this one. He changed the play at the line of scrimmage. Whatever they was in, he saw something defensively where he knew they had the numbers to run over to the right side because they are able to just crease this one. They had the numbers. They were able to get a push outside and then cut it underneath and get into the end zone for a touchdown. Well executed play by the Dolphins offense.
Fourth straight start for Jay Ajayi, their former 5th-round pick. Third rushing touchdown for him. And Miami builds on its lead here in late stages of the third quarter. They go 6 plays, 52 yards. And Jay Ajayi building on his career day. Roethlisberger's second pick. And that set the stage for Ajayi. All Miami on CBS. Well, the famous Primanti brothers, a staple up in Pittsburgh. Also 3 locations down here in South Florida. And plenty of Steelers fans in the house enjoying that place. A little pregame meal. Justin Gilbert crosses to 10. Excellent kickoff coverage for Miami. Well, screening saves lives in the NFL, and the American Cancer Society encourage everyone to join in on the fight against breast cancer. Learn more about a Crucial Catch Day on October the 25th and find out how you can help make a crucial catch. Find out more at NFL.com/pink. So 23-8. This was an 8-3 Steelers lead. And since that point, 20 unanswered points for Miami. Started the show talking about the prowess of both Le'Veon Bell, who's had a good day on the ground, but not much in terms of his receiving. And Antonio Brown, till this point, only 2 catches. Roethlisberger from the gun on 1st and 10. Goes deep down the sideline. That pass will fall incomplete. Intended receiver was Sammy Coates, playing with multiply fractured fingers on his left hand. Also that laceration on that left hand as well. It'll be 2nd and 10 coming up.
Well, we said at the beginning of the game, here's what needed to happen. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can't turn the ball over. It's the great equalizer, and those 2 Ben Roethlisberger turnovers has led to 10 points by the Miami Dolphins. And we said the Dolphins had to protect the franchise. They have not allowed a sack today on Ryan Tannehill.
Bell lines up in the slot, bottom of your screen. Little sidearm delivery by Roethlisberger. That's the tight end, Jesse James. So a 3rd down coming up. And suddenly a Steelers offense that was so good, 30-plus points saw them in each of the last 2 games, suddenly looking for some answers.
Oh, they're certainly looking for answers. I think it's got to start with Le'Veon Bell. He showed the numbers where Bell hasn't been much of a factor. I think they're trying to get Ben back into some kind of rhythm into this offense, and they've gotten away from Le'Veon Bell. They've gotten away from the running game, and they've come out and thrown it on just about every single play.
Third and 5. Roethlisberger's pass over the middle, batted down and incomplete. And the embattled corner, Byron Maxwell, who has been under fire here in Miami for his struggles this season, on the coverage of Hayward Bay.
Well, this is a heads-up play. He sensed this play was coming, and he took the perfect angle to come underneath to knock down that pass intended for Hayward Bay. Ben Roethlisberger, we talk about ball placement. You get that ball maybe a little bit out in front, even though it wasn't a poor pass thrown at all. It was just a good defensive play by Maxwell.
Maxwell, who was benched for the game against Cincinnati earlier this season, has had all kinds of issues, makes a huge defensive play there. This is Jakeem Grant. The long punt return for a touchdown last week. And a nifty return that time by the rookie out of Texas Tech. 15 yards on the return after the 49-yard punt. I'll be the first to know your team's news with the CBS Sports app. Get instant updates, expert analysis, highlights, and more. Download the CBS Sports app. Get it today. Sun peeking through the clouds, South Florida, Hard Rock Stadium. What a surprise score this is so far. 23-8, Miami 20 unanswered points. Ben Roethlisberger leaving the game earlier with a left knee injury, and now Vince Williams has to be helped to the Steelers bench. Williams making a third straight start for the injured Ryan Shazier. And what a huge loss that would be for their defense. Play action from Tannehill on 1st and 10. That pass is caught. That's Gray. The tight end tripped up inside the 45. They pick up 9 as the final seconds come off the clock.
Yeah, if we go into this fourth quarter, you got to be impressed with what you've seen from Adam Gase and the Miami Dolphins. Ben Roethlisberger trying to work his way back into this game after leaving the game in the second quarter. We got one well of a game shaping up as we head into the final frame.
(23-8). Miami in front of the Steelers. This was the scene just a moment ago during the break. Laramie Tunsil, their first-round pick, who of course had that freak shower accident at the team hotel last Sunday morning just prior to their game against the Titans, limping into the locker room. And so you saw Craig Urbick on the field. Also, Vince Williams had to be escorted to the Pittsburgh sideline, still awaiting an update on him as quickly as we can. So the fourth quarter begins with a handoff to Jay Ajayi. That'll be enough for a first down. And now the Steelers defense just trying to get off the field with Miami in complete command. And that clock running.
Yes, and if you're the Dolphins, you were worried because Bushrod just came back into the game. Urbick and Steen were in at both guard positions with Tunsil out. They figured, you know what, we got to go ahead and get Bushrod back in there. And this offensive line, when they have their starting 5, they've been strong.
Steelers telling us that Vince Williams dealing with cramping, heat related due to the humidity. So we'll try to get some fluids in him. This is Tannehill faking the handoff. You know he can run. Already second most rushing yards by a Dolphins quarterback ever, trailing only Bob Greasy. Tackled on the play by Jarvis Jones. I'll pick up a 4.
And you can see Tannehill's having some fun with it. You know, he's been much maligned in the early going of this season, where fans seemingly are growing impatient here in South Florida with Ryan Tannehill. To me, and even when you talk to Adam Gase, he said, we've got to do a better job of protecting him. He said, we can't even evaluate the young quarterback until we become better at protecting him in pass protection.
Kenyon Drake, their rookie third-round pick out of Alabama, on the field. But this is Damian Williams on the take. Williams losing his helmet at the end of that play. And Steelers defense trying to hold steady up front. Tackle on the play by Tuitt.
Coming up with some creative ways to try to run this football against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, who we said coming in today, they're only giving up an average of 77 rush yards per game. Already allowing the Dolphins 132 yards. And now on a third down play, in my mind, you got to look to go to Jarvis Landry in one of those crossing routes to see if you can free him up.
Landry lines up in the slot. Top of your picture, Arian Foster flanking Tannehill. 3rd and 6. Over the middle, it's Foster on the catch. Needed the 30. Appears to be about 1.5 yards short. What do you do here if you're Gase?
Looks like they're going to roll out the field goal team. Points come at a premium against this defense that don't allow you to score a whole lot of points at all.
So a 15-point Miami lead. They'll try to extend to 18 here. Franks had his last attempt blocked. It was hit from 30, 23, and 29. It was Daniel McCullers who broke through to block that last attempt. This one has the distance, but he misses wide left. And Miami leaving more points on the board. They leave the door open for the Steelers with plenty of time left in this fourth quarter. Hot and sticky here in Miami. Feels a lot hotter than 83 degrees down in the field. Multiple players having to be tended to due to cramps, including Laramie Tunsil and Vince Williams. Roethlisberger just barely able to get it out to Le'Veon Bell, who's very close to the first down marker. Eventually tackled by Maxwell. So deadly out of the backfield. It's a pickup of 10.
There you see the pressure on Ben, trying to get some hits on him. We already talked about him playing on that sore left knee. The reason why left knee can really affect a right-hand quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger, you want to finish on that left leg in your follow-through, and if he's unable to, it could affect his overall accuracy, as we've shown you on that earlier interception.
Roethlisberger on 1st and 10, slinging it near side, incomplete, a little bit too far out in front of the intended receiver, Sammy Coates.
There's no doubt that that knee is bothering him, Spiro, and this is what we call just trying to play on guts and guile. He knows his football team need him. He knows maybe he's not at 100%. You can see he leans into it, had to step on that right leg to finish, to drive it, but just threw it outside the reach of his intended receiver.
Second and 10. Dolphins coming on a blitz. Roethlisberger throwing, and it's incomplete. Intended for Brown, and Maxwell putting together a pretty good second half effort for Miami.
Good coverage by Byron Maxwell. Ben had to double clutch this one before he cut it loose, and you can see Maxwell got underneath and got in between the ball and the intended receiver, Antonio Brown. Got one hand on it, nearly came down with it. Big time third down play for Ben and the Steelers offense.
Third and 10. Roethlisberger's pass incomplete. And once again, Maxwell defending Brown.
Not good communication between Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown that play. You can see they were nodding at one another. They were bobbing their heads. They were trying to come to some kind of understanding of what the other was expecting on that play. You can see Antonio Brown thought that ball might be a back shoulder.
Maxwell trying to put all the disappointment of last season in Philadelphia behind him. There's an excellent play by the Steelers punt coverage unit. 40 yards on the perfectly placed punt from Jordan Berry.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. And by Honda Civic Coupe, be the one they didn't see coming.
(23-8) with 20 straight points. Miami in front as they take over possession with just over 11 minutes left in the fourth. Steelers at 4-1 enter the day neck and neck atop the AFC with New England. And right now the Patriots up over the Bengals at home, 25-17 as they play late in the fourth. First and 10, Ajayi, who has a career high today in rushing yards, now at $115, a pickup of a couple. Thursday, your weekend starts here at NFC North matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Thursday Night Football, CBS and NFL Network.
You're Pittsburgh right now, Spiro. You've got to be able to shut down the run game of the Miami Dolphins. I mean, you got to blitz, get these linebackers into the gap, and blitz the quarterback Tannehill.
On 2nd and 8, another run play called. Ajayi trying to build on his numbers. 21st carry of the day, and this is something that they have not had, a bell cow of a running back, and certainly Ajayi a ways away from being that. But the best individual running performance they've had in a long time.
Well, today he's been that. I mean, today he's carried it over 20-plus times. He's over 100 yards rushing. He's got the body and physicality to do it at 6 feet, 230 pounds. This is why he was brought to this football team.
Pivotal 3rd and 2. Tannehill from the gun. Over the middle, it's caught. That's Landry for the first down. 8 yards on the catch. But Ajayi has been the story for Case in this offense.
Yeah, he has shown up in a big-time way here today. 21 carries, 123 yards rushing, gashing that Pittsburgh Steelers secondary, and then being able to hit Pater and punch it into the end zone against the Steelers defense that haven't allowed a lot of touchdowns inside the red zone.
1st and 10, another run play called, and he's done it with big runs, Solomon. He's had 5 rushes today of 10 or more yards.
Now that is so uncharacteristic of this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. We talked about it without Cameron Hayward, without Ryan Shazier, and right now without even his backup Vince Williams. We're seeing Tyler Matakevich, he's coming to the game. Anthony Chickalow, a lot of backup linebackers right now playing for Pittsburgh. And Mike Tomlin, his defense is shorthanded in terms of starters. And you can see they've suffered from it today.
Fifth best rushing defense and on this one today, but so far it's been a different story. On 2nd and short, this is Williams. Needed 31. He'll be about a yard short. We saw Laramie Tunsil back on the field. Tunsil had to leave earlier in the quarter due to cramps. And another big 3rd down play coming up.
Jahi is back into the game. It's 3rd and short. And if you see Ryan Tannehill under center, if I'm Pittsburgh, you got to know that they're going to pound that run game. They're trying to eat clock, and they're trying to get Ajayi going and to become that bell cow running back that you talked about, Spiro.
See what the Dolphins have done on 3rd down. 3rd and 1. Tannehill play action. Probes the defense. Gonna throw it and completes. Marquise Gray. Monstrous play from Tannehill. 19 yards as they move the chains again.
Watch, it's going to be just what we call a reverse bootleg, and there is Marquise Gray. Look, he comes out. Now watch the patience of Tannehill to help Marquise Gray uncover the pump fake, the patience, and then the timing to find the open and intended tight end as a receiver down the field to convert that 3rd down into a 1st down. Good play by Ryan Tannehill.
Gray did not have a catch before today. He had a 53-yarder to set up a score earlier in the game. And a big 1st down reception right there. Steelers defense answers as McCullers, who had a blocked field goal earlier, stuffing Ajayi. Coming up tomorrow, it's a night full of laughs, starting with all new episodes of TV's #1 comedy. First, The Big Bang Theory, followed by TV's #1 new comedy, Kevin Can Wait. Then don't miss a new episode of Two Broke Girls and the season premiere of The Odd Couple, only CBS. And Roethlisberger, sorry, Solomon, go ahead.
I was just saying on 2nd down, this is where Adam Gase wants to take a shot down the field. You got to be careful of Jarvis Landry sneaking down the field against this Steelers secondary.
Jones, the tight end in motion. Ajayi on 2nd and 11. You see him trying to cover up the football inside the Steelers 40. And that'll be enough for another Miami 1st down. We have not seen this kind of confidence from Ajayi since his days at Boise State.
Or they can check to the run when you see have an empty box. Only one linebacker, 44, Matakevich, was in that box, and so they're able to get the guard Tunsil onto him, and that's why you check to the running game. Ryan Tannehill doing a really good job of checking at the line of scrimmage and getting this offense into the right play, attacking Mike Tomlin's defense.
Well, Mike Tomlin had to burn a timeout. His defense in disarray. Down 23-8, under 6 to play in his 4th quarter. Steelers just trying to stop the bleeding. On 1st and 10, Gase keeps it on the ground. This is Damian Williams, a 2nd effort to get him close to the 38. This was Tomlin during the timeout. Solomon bringing his entire defense to the sideline.
He's giving them an earful. He knows they're leaking oil. Wanted to give them a timeout so they can catch their breath, but he said right now that we've got to show some guts. We need a stop here. They've allowed the Dolphins to roll off 9 plays over 5 minutes so far on this drive. And he knows that this is a moment of truth for his football team here today.
Tomlin, youngest head coach to ever win a Super Bowl back in 09 at the age of 38, trying to rally the troops, make it 36 as Tannehill's pass falls incomplete. We go downstairs, check in with Chris Fisher.
Thanks, Spiro. Solomon was speaking about the Pittsburgh defense. Well, they're missing Vince Williams over the last 2 series. He went back to the locker room, had an IV. He is back out here on the bench. And Javon Hargrave is also being checked for cramping at this point. Williams has led the Steelers in the past 2 weeks in tackles. Spiro?
All right, Chris, thanks. Keep in mind they're already without Cam Hayward, who's out with that tear in his hamstring. And now a critical 3rd down as they try to get off the field. Tannehill again from the shotgun. Landry tripped up right after the catch. Well played defensively. Lawrence Timmons, a 10th-year vet, on the tackle.
They're going to try to pin the Pittsburgh Steelers deep inside their territory, but right now they've done a really good job of just playing complementary football. You know, the Dolphins have had to overcome some problems themselves. They've had to overcome a blocked field goal and then a missed field goal as Adam Gase is trying to put these Pittsburgh Steelers away, and you know the Steelers die hard. They're not going to go away easily.
This would have been a 54-yard field goal. So instead, Gase sends out his punter, Matt Darr, who's been very good at pinning opponents inside the 20. And once again, he does it right here. There is a penalty marker at the end of the play at the Steelers' 30. Chimdi Chekwa, whom they signed this week after some of the cuts made by Adam Gase, was there to down it. Matt Darr, 3rd in the league in pinning those punts inside the 20. And another long conference between Hockey Lee and his officiating mates.
Flag is down at the 30-yard line. It appeared to be against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and
there was no foul for holding on the play.
Ben Roethlisberger looking for some late game magic, down 23-8.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network. And by Subway. Try the new thick-cut autumn carb turkey sandwich.
Ben Roethlisberger back onto the field. Second half possessions have been ugly for the Steelers.
yeah, and he's been ice cold. 4 of 11 here in the second half for 42 yards, and he's also thrown the 2nd interception of the game.
First and 10, Roethlisberger from his own end zone. That is a completion to Kobe Hamilton, signed to their active roster yesterday off their practice squad due to the injuries. No Marcus Wheaton. First down as they move the chains. Oh, with NFL Game Pass, replay the games you missed with condensed games in 45 minutes of the full broadcast versions. Get the new midseason offer today. NFL.com/Game Pass. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcots, Chris Fisher. Steelers started the day 4-1 atop the AFC with New England. But right now up against it with 3 and change left in the 4th. Roethlisberger over the middle to Eli Rogers for his 2nd catch, a pickup of 3, tackled by Bobby McCain.
We often say that at critical moments in games, you think players, not plays. That means for Pittsburgh, you think Antonio Brown, you think Le'Veon Bell. Now, if you're the Miami Dolphins, there's no way you're going to let Antonio Brown beat you here. You've got to double cover him and try to take him away from Ben Roethlisberger.
2-score deficit for the Steelers, 2nd and 7. This is Le'Veon Bell. Crosses the 30. First down on the catch and run, brought down by the safety, Michael Thomas. It's a pickup of 13 as they get a fresh set of downs.
If you're going to double cover Antonio Brown, that means Le'Veon Bell should be available for you coming out of the backfield, working against the linebacker.
Roethlisberger, 38 career come-from-behind wins in the 4th quarter or overtime. Roethlisberger slinging it on 1st and 10. Once again finds Rodgers, trying to get out of bounds, unable to, so the clock continues. Maxwell on the coverage.
And they only have 2 timeouts. You got to try to strike quick Try to conserve your timeouts. You know they're looking for a big play. The big play usually comes to Antonio Brown if you can get him working against one-on-one coverage.
Brown has been quiet, however. Only 2 catches for 28 yards. 2nd and 5. Roethlisberger putting some air under it and finds Rodgers. And that time able to get to the sideline. So they still have the 2-minute warning. It's a first down pass play of 15 yards.
By Antonio Brown. Most of the defense went with Brown on the in-breaking route. And they left Rodgers wide open heading toward the sideline.
Roethlisberger trying to grit his way through on that gimpy left knee. Left the game at the 8:06 mark of the second and returned at the start of the third quarter. 1st and 10. That pass incomplete. Boy, Rodgers had it, bobbled it, and lost it.
Right now, Ben is being very smart. He's looking for the receiver with one-on-one opportunities. It appears to be Rodgers. He's got to hold on to the football.
Final $1:59 in Miami. Steelers looking for a miracle here, down 15 points. Faced with a 2nd and 10 from just inside the Miami 48. Roethlisberger going to take a shot, throwing towards the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Darius Hayward-Bay. And look who it is once again, Byron Maxwell.
Comes over the top of Hayward-Bay to defend that play. You could hardly blame Ben. You've got to take some shots. You're inside 2 minutes, down by 15. You're talking about 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, right? And you don't have a whole lot of time left.
Steelers entered the day 2nd best 3rd down conversion rate in the NFL. Different story today, just 2 of 8. 2 down territory. This is 3rd and 10. Roethlisberger able to locate Bell, still going. Trying to get out of bounds as he takes on the tackler, Rashad Jones, one of the hardest hitting safeties in the league. First down on the catch and run, a pickup of 18.
Le'Veon Bell delivering a blow there. You know, he's being smart to protect himself on that sideline. Still wanted to get out of bounds, but he delivered the blow instead of taking one.
Able to stop the clock with 1:44 to play. Bell now over 100 yards from scrimmage. 5th catch for 51 receiving yards. Steelers have 2 timeouts. This is 1st and 10. Roethlisberger finding Brown, trying to get out of bounds, and he does not.
Antonio Brown's got to get out of bounds there. He's got to make an effort to get out of bounds.
Reminder coming up, the Subway postgame show. JP and the guys standing by in New York. Get you caught up on a busy Sunday in week 6 on the Subway postgame show coming your way next. Valuable seconds coming off the clock. Down to 65 seconds. Roethlisberger going end zone. It is caught. Kobe Hamilton for the Steelers touchdown. Signed off of their practice squad just yesterday. 23 yards on his first career touchdown catch.
He's working against Chimdi Chekwa. He's able to make the play one-on-one, and that's what Ben is going to do. He found the one-on-one opportunity. Look at that catch by Hamilton. Just a great play. Miami Dolphins, you can't double cover everyone, and that's Chimdi Chekwa, number 38, assigned to defend against Hamilton one-on-one, and allows the touchdown to Ben Roethlisberger.
Chekwa, one of a couple of corners that they signed just this week. So Kobe Hamilton breathing life into the Steelers, at least for the moment. Penalty marker flies on the Boswell point after. And now some pushing after the whistle. Wait, how many of these have we had in this game after whistles today? as Hockley and his crew try to maintain order.
Boy, is this Ben Roethlisberger? Does he keep swinging the axe until that tree falls? He struggled today. He hasn't been at his best, but he's got his team coming back in this game.
16th touchdown pass of the season for Roethlisberger.
Personal foul leverage by the defense, number 92. Pittsburgh has chosen to enforce that penalty on the kickoff.
It's John Denny, Miami's long snapper. The man whistled for the penalty. Coming up next Sunday, the NFL on CBS does double time with a highlight reel smash-up between Tom Brady and the Patriots against these Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. Check your local listings, beginning with JB, Boomer, Tony, Coach, and Bart on the NFL Today.
You're the Miami Dolphins. You've got to be leery. You've got to be smart. I think you're going to get from Darren Rizzi and that special teams unit. You've got to have your hands team out there. Pittsburgh's got to get this onside kick. They've got to get the ball, and they've got to score quickly within inside of a minute. And then they've got to make a decision to go for 2 just to be able to tie this game up.
So they haven't had a successful onside kick since 2007. They need one here if they have any chance. So Roethlisberger drives them 97 yards to cut it to 8. And now it all comes down to this onside attempt by Chris Boswell, their second-year kicker out of Rice. Has to go 10 yards. It does. And it is taken by Jarvis Landry. Not sure there's any player on that Dolphins roster Gase would rather have had in that spot. And Miami will have the football with 1:02 remaining.
We told you that Landry was a fierce competitor. This is kind of like going to the dentist. You know it's going to hurt, but you got to go anyway. He knew he was going to take a lick going up for that ball, but you have to go for it at its highest point. You have to be able to secure it. It was Roosevelt Nix who landed the lick on Landry, but Landry comes down with the ball, and all you got to do here is take a knee.
Thank you.
Steelers could stop the clock twice,
which means they're going to do more than take a knee. You got to run a play.
Talked about just how desperate this Miami team was for a win.
180.
Entering the day 1-4. There's Ajayi breaking free again, and this will put it on ice. 62 yards for the Dolphins touchdown.
It's just great blocking at the point of attack. They seal the edge. They get a kick out on Golden. Take a look at this. Here's the kick out here, and then they're able to seal the edge here. He comes down, able to get to that second level, and it's just speed from there. Jay Ajayi, we saw him get the walk-off run for a touchdown in that home game against Cleveland in overtime, and now he does it to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a clear knockout against one of the best teams in the NFL. The Dolphins ought to feel proud of themselves.
Ajayi's previous career high, a 48-yard performance against Philadelphia last season, and 43 in the loss last week. A 204-yard performance for Jay Ajayi, their former 5th-round pick out of Boise State.
Oh, it's just incredible. This offensive line, much maligned last week for allowing 6 sacks on their quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. The coach had to cut 2 of those players who played on that offensive line. All week long, nationally, people were killing this Miami Dolphins team in terms of what they built here. And what do they come out and do today with their starting 5 members of the offensive line in the lineup for the first regular season game? Give the ball to Jay Ajayi. He rushes for over 200 yards against Mike Tomlin's defense. And Stephen Ross, the team's owner, couldn't be more happy.
Now they unveiled this renovated new stadium. Signs a bright young Adam Gase to be his head coach. It's 1-4, certainly not the start that they envisioned. Really the first crisis moment for Gase in his tenure here in Miami. Salmon, you mentioned the tough decisions that he had to make, cutting 4 of his players this week. There wasn't a more desperate team in the NFL than the Dolphins were coming into this one.
Look at that career high. 200 yards for Jay Ajayi. You got to be really happy in terms of what he's been able to do.
A kick by Franks, and Justin Gilbert will take a knee. And now a fight breaks out. This has been brewing. It's like Kenyon Drake has to be pulled away by the officials.
What a difference for this team. We were here week 3. They did beat Cleveland. Remember, Cleveland took them into overtime. That was a game everyone here in South Florida said, okay, it's going to be an easy win for the Dolphins. And they had to fight tooth and nail to come away with that win. And here today, you know, around this weekend, Spiro, everywhere we went, everyone thought that Pittsburgh was going to come in here and walk away with an easy win, that the Dolphins were left for dead. And how about that? That's what the National Football League's all about. You never know. On any given Sunday, any team can win when you decide to put up a fight.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Miami number 32. 15 yards. Pittsburgh's ball, first down.
That's the rookie Kenyon Drake, and he's getting an earful from Darren Rizzi, their longtime special teams coach. Just to put what Jay Ajayi has done today into perspective, 3rd highest rushing total in a regular season game in franchise history. Ricky Williams, 228 in December of 2002, had 216 in another game that same month, just a week later. But what a moment for Jay Ajayi, who Dolphins fans, Salmon, have kind of been waiting for it to break out. Tough start to his rookie year last year. Missed the first 8 weeks of the season, had the broken ribs that he sustained in the preseason finale. And maybe this is a launching point to the rest of his career. Roethlisberger, little shovel pass to Le'Veon Bell as the clock continues to run. And Roethlisberger took another hit. It's the last thing Mike Tomlin wants to see. Roethlisberger pump fakes on 2nd and 6 underneath, and that will fall incomplete. And they are throwing Roethlisberger around like a rag doll. Special thanks to this great crew. Of course, our producer Ryan Galvin, Andy Goldberg, our director. Our associate director is Alana Campbell, and our broadcast associates Scott Martin and Ryan Pavlicek. Special thanks to all of our guys and girls here in Miami. Statistician here in the booth has been Russ Lynn, and our spotter Rich Gaynor. Dolphins get the win that they were so desperate for, as they will go to 2-4, and the Steelers, who appeared to be a juggernaut, will fall to 4-2, their first loss since that Week 3 blowout defeat in Philadelphia.
And I know Ben Roethlisberger was knocked out the second quarter of this game. People are going to talk about the fact that they have struggled for the 2nd consecutive game on the road. Remember the last time they were on the road, Week 3, and only scored 3 points offensively, and that loss to the Eagles, and they struggled again today offensively on the road.
Final 11 seconds on 4th and 6. This is Antonio Brown trying to get to the first down. I don't think he did. Bonus coverage coming up of the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Giants as that game comes down to the final 2 minutes. Ravens in front as they play at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Frustrating day for Roethlisberger will come to an end. And give him credit, trying to grit his way through that left knee injury. Well, this is a day that belonged to Adam Gase, who gets only his second win as a rookie head coach here in Miami.
But this is a meaningful win. This is against a Super Bowl contending Pittsburgh Steelers team that came in doing a lot of things well. No team was hotter in the NFL and entering week 6 than was Pittsburgh.
And it is over in Miami. Your final score, the Dolphins 30 and the Pittsburgh Steelers 15. Coming up next, the Subway postgame show and bonus coverage between the Ravens and the Giants. Now for Solomon Wilcott's Chris Fisher, rest of our CBS crew, Spiro Dedes saying so long from Miami. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We'll join JB in New York right after this.